Time for episode 3 of My Decision Time. We went for endoscopy and had the camera down the throat so that they could have a look-see. They took a biopsy. I don't have the result at this point of that biopsy. But I get a call to say that I'm being referred for a CT scan. And basically, I can't remember now. The CT scan they put something else in your blood, or to help the picture come out. Again, at the time I probably remembered it, but now my brain's just wiping clear experiences. So I'm trying to get these things done as quickly as possible, so I don't forget anymore. Because when it's not quite so pleasant, you don't want to remember things. So I was booked into my local hospital here in Ashford, and William Harvey Hospital, by the way. So their oncology work so far has been brilliant. I had no complaints whatsoever on there. Things didn't always go smoothly, and there's things that I would like them to be aware of. Which is nice that if they do follow these podcasts, that they'll be able to hear from a patient where they perhaps need to improve. It might have been just that it fell down for me. I don't know, but not normally a problem. But it's something you can learn to improve how you're doing it, and that's what's great about getting feedback from customers, getting testimonials, and doing case studies and so forth. You learn more about how your business is working, how your life is working. You get to know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and how you can improve things. So I love feedback. You remember in business, people give objections. That's when you're selling. And people say, "Oh no, can't cope with objections." They're trying to say no. Well, they're not. They're just simply saying you're not doing it right, and they're giving you guidance as to how to get better. And that's the great thing about it. Is if you look at objections, it's like what I'm doing here that the oncology team can learn from, right? I'm not saying that I know their job any better than them. What I'm saying is, as a patient going through it, there have been points where it didn't quite run as smoothly as it could. It's not that they did anything wrong, it's just that maybe they didn't do enough right about something which maybe they intended to but didn't quite do it at that time because they're busy. Because that's the one thing I'll guarantee. All of the staff that I've been talking and dealing with are busy people, right? But they make time for their patients. So every one of them has spent time with me, listened to me. So I'm really pleased with how they've done. But yes, there have been one or two things that could be better. But it's not, and I never want you to think of it as a criticism, it is constructive help. Okay, so I've got a CT scan to go to. And again, I've got to talk to them about claustrophobia. But now we start to learn something that I'm going to come across quite frequently. Because they started asking the same questions that the first nurse, when I did the endoscopy, had asked me the questions. Same hospital, same set of questions, all about my medical history and so forth. So I've got to remember to tell them all about the different things. And we go through it, and we go through it, and we go through it. Exactly the same thing, asked in a different manner because it's a different person. But basically the same questions. That was not a problem at this point. But it started to become an irritation as we progressed, because to constantly be asked those same questions every time, not so good. Now, I understand when you're in a theatre, somebody asking some of those questions just to make certain that you are the right person, you are aware what's happening, etc., 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 and there aren't any particular things that you've missed telling their staff, the more junior staff than these doctors, maybe the nurses or whatever. Um, it's a protection for you, so I don't have a problem with that. So we went through all of this. I got injected. The cannula went in and so forth relatively easily. I think she might have made one or two mistakes, but I know by the end of those two events, I think it was 9 holes in my arms and hands, for I think it was two or three successful things. So yeah, there was a bit of bruising and a bit of tenderness as a result of that. But it depends on your experience on dealing on actually inserting it. If you haven't had the experience of people who, like me, have their veins and arteries lower in their body than you would like, then you basically are going to make mistakes because you've got to learn how to do it. And hopefully, your experience with stabbing me has basically helped. And that's how I look at it, is just giving you experience. So no problem. But even so, not one of them, they were all nice people, all looking to help me. So I have no complaints, none whatsoever. So anyway, we got that done. And whatever liquid it was that they pumped into me, I can't remember now what they do for the CT scan. More scans to come. And I'd got in there, saw what it was. It was only a relatively small thing, so I went in, no problem. I didn't have to have any sedation, and so I was able to drive home myself. No problems. It was done. Yeah, I had to keep my eyes closed. Yeah, I wasn't happy with it, but that's because of my claustrophobia. But there was nothing wrong and it was nothing scary about actually doing it. It was just something within me that was the problem, nothing else. Okay. So that came out and that was done. And it was really fairly simple and straightforward, and actually didn't raise too many worries. I was wondering why they wanted this second scan, but I was assuming they're just wanting a better look at it, whatever it was that they discovered in the endoscopy. Fine. Did that and went smoothly, no problem. Got back in the car, drove home, no issues at all on there. So it was a relatively simple situation. Yeah, my blood pressure was high because and if you talk to these people, they will tell you that no, don't worry, we know it's going to be high when you're coming in for these different things because people get agitated about it, and so they expect the blood pressure to be higher than it should be. So that was done. That was out of the way. And to be honest, I never really got feedback on the specific scans, but that one was done. Okay, and that was simple, and we finished. So now I've gone home, and what happens next? Well, I got another scan to do, and I'll tell you about that in the next episode. Thank you very much.